one have to be to choose that as a topic?
Mr. Speaker, after 8 years of this Prime Minister, Canadian businesses are beginning to sound the alarms. Now take Gio, who owns a small coffee shop in Edmonton. He has to bring his beans up from South America, but due to rising costs of fuel, transportation and utilities, he's had to hike his prices 25%. Now, it's policies like the Liberals' carbon tax that continue to drive up these costs. Now, Conservatives will keep the heat on and take the tax off. So when will this Prime Minister get out of the way so Conservatives can fix what he broke?
The Honourable Minister.
Well, I can tell this honourable member what this side of the House does for small businesses. We stand by them every single... We stand with...
The Honourable Minister, please, from the top.
I'll tell my honourable member what this side of the House does for small businesses. We have their back every single time. During the pandemic, it was about keeping their employees on payroll. It was giving them a loan so that they can get through every single day. Now, it's about helping them get new customers by going through e-commerce. It's about helping those businesses get access to new markets all around the world. And I might say that those businesses are doing terrific. They're doing terrific because they are increasing their businesses and creating great jobs for Canadians from coast to coast to coast.
The Honourable Member for Edmonton Riverbend.
Really, Mr. Speaker? That minister wants to tell us about small businesses? I think it's the Ethics Commissioner that just told us all what they do with small businesses. It's been reported now that more than half of Canadians are spending over $200 a month or more to heat their homes. Now just ask Linda. She's a family of 4, and she's choosing to skip meals than to heat her home. Now Conservatives will keep the heat on and take the tax off. So when will this Prime Minister get out of the way so Conservatives can fix what he broke?
The Honourable Minister for Tourism.
I thank my honourable member colleague from Edmonton and wonder why he voted against taxes for small business when he had the opportunity to support them. Mr. Speaker, I can tell you, just in the jobs report for January, 150,000 new jobs created, 121,000 full-times. I don't know where he is, Mr. Speaker, but in Edmonton, things are going well. We're supporting Canadians. That's our job.
Excellent.
The Honourable Member for Pitt Meadows, Maple Ridge.
Mr. Speaker, after 8 years of this Prime Minister, British Columbians are really struggling. Liberal policies have pushed home, rent, and fuel prices through the roof. We pay the highest prices in North America. It's projected to hit $2.65 a litre this summer. Liberal solution, let's double down, no, triple down on the carbon tax. That'll force them to not to drive to work or take their kids to soccer. Will the Prime Minister take responsibility for making life more expensive? Will he keep the heat on and takes the tax off?
The Honourable Minister for Natural Resources.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would remind my honourable colleague that 8 out of 10 Canadian families actually get more money back than they pay on the price on pollution. But I would also remind my honourable...
Okay, I think things are getting a little bit out of hand. I'm just going to ask everyone to take a deep breath, and when someone's speaking, not say anything, other than the person who's entitled to speak. The Honourable Minister from the top, please.
But I would also remind my honourable colleague who comes from the same province that I do that it was in 2008 that the British Columbia government put in place the first price on pollution in North America, showing enormous leadership in the fight against climate change. But if he has a problem with the price on pollution in British Columbia, he might want to raise that with the Premier.
A member for Pitt Meadows, Maple Ridge.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, this minister should know that British Columbians receive zero back in tax rebates from the federal government. After 8 years of this Prime Minister, everything is more difficult. In Surrey, 1,000 Indo-Canadian owner-operators met to protest that the Liberal government and the Port Authority don't care care about their livelihoods. They're being forced to unnecessarily buy new trucks. They're also struggling to pay for increased fuel prices, including the carbon tax that is tripling. Will this Prime Minister take responsibility for his actions and admit he doesn't care for hardworking Canadians?
The Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And it's interesting that the honourable member points out that British Columbians do not get a refund, as every Canadian who lives under the federal system does. 8 out of 10 Canadians get more money back under the federal system. If he has a problem with how that process is implemented, and I believe the honourable member used to be a member of the political party that brought the price on pollution in, he should raise it with the Premier.
Across Canada are selling preferential access to surgery for those with money to pay for it. They are exploiting a loophole in the Canada Health Act that is costing Canadians up to $28,000 per procedure. Even former Liberal Health Minister Jane Philpott says this contravenes the principles of Medicare. New Democrats believe Canadians should have access to care based on need, not wealth. Why are Liberals letting for-profit clinics prey on the desperation of patients and allowing two-tier access to care in Canada?
Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Health.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I appreciate the question from my colleague and for his collaboration on the Health Committee. We believe on this side of the House that all you should need in order to get health care is your health card, not your credit card, and we'll always stand up for Canada's universal public health care. Canadians are proud of our system, which has always been based on need, not their ability to pay. Our discussions with the premiers included the importance of upholding the Canada Health Act, which means making sure that services are based on need and not a person's ability to pay, and will always protect Canada's equitable access to universal health care and services. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Port Moody, Coquitlam.
Mr. Speaker, the Liberals said they would defend public health care, and now they're not. Another example of Liberals putting the interests of corporate profits over people is the flailing Canada Infrastructure Bank. This bank has failed to deliver the climate-resilient infrastructure needed by communities, and Liberals don't want people to know this. This government is keeping that information secret and out of the hands of Canadians. Why are the Liberals protecting a bank that isn't delivering for Canadians?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, but on the contrary, the Canada Infrastructure Bank is an innovative way to deal with infrastructure gaps that our country faces. Would the member opposite like to tell for example, the Manitoba Fibre Project that has over 400 jobs created, 49,000 households will be connected to broadband. Would the member opposite like to tell those residents, those people who are employed, that the Infrastructure Bank is doing nothing for them? Mr. Speaker, we're going to continue to invest in good infrastructure right across this country.
That's right. The Honourable Member for Kings Hants.
Mr. Speaker, Nova Scotia's wine, grape and fruit growing sector is facing an uncertain future. On the weekend of February 3rd and 4th, a polar vortex event hit Nova Scotia with sustained temperatures of -25 and a wind chill record of -43. This, coupled with the fact that we had one of the mildest winters on record in Nova Scotia, has resulted in significant damage. Early estimates suggest that we will completely lose the vinifera crop and up to 50% of hybrids, and the fruit industry is concerned about peaches, cherries, and stone fruit. Can the Minister of Agriculture provide some guidance to producers in my riding and across the province about what programs they should take, and whether or not she's received any application from the Government of Nova Scotia for an agri-recovery framework? Thank you.
Honourable Minister of Agriculture.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, I would like to thank my colleague from Kings